and Gabby Williams were slow to get up after a collision underneath the basket. Here's what happened.
Oh, that is a major collision for the two of them. They both knock heads. It took them both some time to get to their feet.
Lexie Hull took a brutal head-to-head hit that had fans thinking her night was over, but minutes later, she was back on the court, knot on her forehead, diving for rebounds like nothing happened. And that moment of toughness summed up everything about this Indiana Fever team. On a night meant to celebrate Caitlin Clark, the Fever showed up without her, missing half their guards, and still walked out with a season-sweeping win over the Seattle Storm. Hull, Aaliyah Boston, Odyssey Sims, and Kelsey Mitchell flipped the script in one gritty, statement-making performance. And Aaliyah Boston's postgame message has the entire locker room fired up. If you're rocking with the Fever, drop a "I've got the Fever" in the comments. Let's go.
Woo! First home game. Got a dub. Let's get it.
Big dub. Let's go.
Fever dub. Bow. Woo! Dubs. It's giving.
Indiana's challenges started long before tip-off, with Caitlin Clark still sidelined by the groin injury that's kept her out since mid-July. She wasn't alone. Sophie Cunningham, Ari McDonald, and Sydney Colson were all out with season-ending injuries, while Chloe Bobby continued to manage lingering knee discomfort. That left the Fever without the bulk of their guard rotation, forcing the bench to stretch thin and putting heavy pressure on the starters to deliver on a night that mattered.
He's been the one that's been most affected by all of our injuries. You know, all of the point guards that know how to get her the ball and how they get it to her. And it's not just getting her the ball, it's where you get it to her, you know, getting it to her on time, on target, you know, thinking one pass ahead, you know, all that matters. And I thought today, her aggressiveness with the ball in her hands to the rim, getting into defenders, playing low to high instead of high to low. When she plays like that, you know, there's nobody that can stop her. And, you know, she set the tone for us, really on both ends. You know, she had the NECA assignment as well and set the tone for us on both ends. And, you know, she was terrific.
The timing couldn't have been worse for Indiana, coming off 4 losses in their last 5 games and teetering on the edge of the playoff race. With a 19-18 record, they clung to the 8th and final postseason spot, while Seattle sat just ahead in 6th, separated by only a single win. Every possession in the matchup carried extra weight, not just to stop another slide, but to gain ground in a razor-tight standings battle. For both players and fans, the sense of urgency was unmistakable.
Aaliyah, this is a string of games, beginning of a string of games against the teams you're competing for a playoff spot against. Did this game feel more important in that regard? And I guess how big was it to get a win in this one?
Yeah, I mean, going into this game, we talked about that this was going to be a big game for us, considering the standings where Seattle was. But, you know, going into the West Coast trip, I mean, right now we're just going to be focused on LA. That's kind of been our motto this entire season, is just focus on the game ahead of you, be where your feet are. And so starting tomorrow, we're going to be looking at LA. But, I mean, this next string of games definitely important for us, but we got to take it one game at a time.
And yet, before tip-off, the atmosphere inside Gainbridge Fieldhouse felt more like a celebration than a must-win battle. Caitlin Clark's new Nike logo reveal had transformed the arena into a branded spectacle. Banners draped across railings, promo shirts everywhere, and fans lining up for selfies. The night was crafted to spotlight Clark's superstardom and cultural, but the irony was striking. Clark wasn't on the court. She was on the sideline, watching from courtside. It shouldered the weight of Kiana's playoff.
Feels good. Got the pants, got the charms, necklace, zipper. Everything.
On the floor, the adjustment was massive. Without Clark's perimeter shooting to space the floor and missing several veteran ball handlers to stabilize the offense, Indiana was forced to rely heavily on interior scoring and rebounding just to stay in the game. Facing a seasoned Seattle squad still fighting for playoff position, the Fever looked vulnerable, thin in rotation, and at a clear disadvantage. Most in the arena expected a close battle at best, with the odds leaning heavily toward the Storm.
It's special. I mean, you know, there's very few people who get the opportunity to say that they have a logo and to make the impact that she makes, not just, I think, in the sport, but globally, just by being who she is. She's a connector. She brings people together. And, you know, I think for us to be a part of that, and whether it's, you know, as simple as being able to celebrate all of these things with her, or, you know, as much as walking out into the arena and seeing the whiteout on the chairs out there, it's really cool. And it's really special and shoot, I'm talking about it right now and just feeling the intense gratitude for me personally, being in women's basketball, to be able to be a part of this moment and to celebrate with her.
Still, The Fever stepped onto the court with a different kind of energy. Instead of letting the injuries or off-court distractions dictate the night, they treated it like a gut check moment. Their defensive rotations were crisper, box outs more physical, and with Caitlin Clark watching from the sidelines, the crowd, hungry for someone to step up, began to feed off the grit unfolding on the floor. And in that tense, high-stakes atmosphere came the night's defining moment, a single collision that captured the full weight of Indiana's resilience.
And Gabby Williams were slow to get up after a collision underneath the basket. Here's what happened.
Well, that is a major collision for the two of them. They both knock heads. It took them both some time to get to their feet.
It happened in the first quarter. Lexie Hull and Gabby Williams collided head-first while diving for a loose ball under the crack of the impact echoing through the arena as both dropped to the... Williams stayed on the bench, but Hull headed straight to the locker, holding her forehead as swelling formed instantly. Cameras captured the growing in real time, prompting winces from fans at home and inside Gainbridge Fieldhouse. The crowd went silent, bracing for...
On that play.
I didn't know exactly what happened when it happened. It was kind of just like a clash. But looking at the video, it just, Gabby and I ran into each other. Unfortunate, unlucky. I think we both have knots on our heads, so we both kept playing, so it's all right.
Were you pretty dazed when you...
Yeah, I think it's more of like what just happened, big like collision. I just need some time. Felt my face, felt a growing knot, so that doesn't feel...
Fans figured her night was over. After a collision like that with a visible knot swelling on her forehead, there's just no way she's coming back. And while Lexie Hull isn't a highlight reel scorer, her value on a shorthanded Indiana roster is undeniable. She guards the opposing team's top perimeter threats, dives for every loose ball, and injects the kind of relentless energy that holds the team together. Without her, Indiana's already thin rotation would be even more vulnerable, especially on the defensive end. Everyone in the arena felt it. If Hull was done, how could the Fever possibly hold on?
Storm basketball. Deliver Sidantos, Kelsey Pitcher, Lexie Hull, second to the floor.
Minutes passed, and then, almost unexpectedly, Lexie Hull reappeared and checked back into the game. The swelling on her forehead was still obvious, but her energy hadn't dipped a bit. On her very first possession back, she hit the floor diving for a loose ball like nothing, and the crowd erupted, rising to their feet in appreciation. What looked like the end of her night and the emotional spark that lit up the entire arena. Hull later admitted his disoriented, but still minutes, and even managed to joke out that everyone...
Getting back on the bench, was everybody just kind of staring at your forehead directly? And...
I knew, everyone's like, you look beautiful. I'm like, I know I look insane. But it honestly looks better now than it did when it first happened, so... hopefully this goes down quick.
Did you glance up at the video board to see it? Did you get a look at it?
No, I could see it looking out. I could see it just from my own eyes. So I didn't need to look anywhere. I knew it was going to be big.
No way. So it's in your peripheral vision?
Yes. It was literally sticking out. I mean, it's still big right here, but it was bigger and I could see it. So they brought it down a little. Your
teammates, your coach, the GM, everybody's just kind of talking about your toughness, I guess. So there's not really a good way to ask that question, but if you could just talk to me about that toughness and where that comes from.
I mean, if I can play, if I feel like I can play, whether or not I look good or not isn't the problem. So, I think for me, it's just the team is the most important thing, getting wins is the most important thing, and if I can contribute in any way I can, that's what I'm going to do. So if it's playing a little injured, playing a little hurt, that is what it is.
Lexie Hull's decision to keep fighting ignited the entire team. The bench saw it, the starters felt it, and Aaliyah Boston made it clear afterward, calling Hull the very definition of toughness. It wasn't just praise. It captured the identity the Fever embodied that night and set the tone for their gritty, relentless performance.
Lexie Hull gets hit in the head there at the beginning of the game, comes back in. If you could just speak to her toughness and what it meant seeing her fight through what sure was not very pleasant.
I feel like Lexie's the definition of tough.
Yes.
I think when you just think of her as a player, the way that she hustles, she likes to get loose balls, extra offensive possessions. That's what she does. I mean, she got hit, she came back and just continued to contribute again, was a pest on defense, just making her presence felt, offensive rebounds, and that's just who Lexie is.
Coach Stephanie White saw it just as clearly, calling the collision disgusting, but praising Lexie Hull as unshakable, never revealing pain or hesitation. White emphasized that Hull just gets back up and competes every single possession, and that's exactly what she did that night.
I mean, that was disgusting. I don't know if y'all saw it, but I mean, it's who she is. She's just a tough young woman who battles every possession, and you can never tell if Lexie if she's hurt, if she's injured, if she goes down, if she gets back up. She just always has the same expression, and she just plays her butt off. And I'm thankful that it wasn't worse, and thankful that she was able to come back. But she really kind of epitomizes the toughness and the grit of this team.
The numbers told the story. Hull grabbed 9 rebounds and posted a team-best +31 ±. Her grit and lockdown defense disrupted the Storm's rhythm, even as Indiana rotated through a patched-together lineup. Her return shifted the energy in the arena, signaling this wasn't just about survival. It was about making a statement. That toughness paved the way for Boston, Sims, and Mitchell to take control and seal the win.
Boston can't finish inside, but able to tap it back out. Hull tracks it down and steps into a 3 and connects. I know.